I don't even remember what started the conversation, but it ended up with her issuing the challenge. Can I fill an entire album with layouts made only from scraps? So today it's another scraps only challenge. So what I have in front of me here are some 12-inch wide scraps. And I think I'll need 5 of these that need to be at least 2 3/4 inches wide. And so I'm trying to lay them out to see what order I think that I would like them in. And I only need 5, so I'm going to eliminate a few. I'm going to eliminate this one because it has a bit more greenish in there in its colors. I'm going to eliminate this one, and because I think the cloud design kind of clashes with this design. And let's see what I have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to keep the solid because I believe it is a good break between some of the patterns. And I think I kind of like that. So I think I'll put this one to the side. Now I have 5 pieces of scrap paper to build onto this refill page. I'm going to be using my custom border template to make hexagons. And using the peak edge of the custom border tool, you end up with a shape that's a flattened hexagon. And I want to make 5 flattened hexagons for this layout. So here are the steps. We are going to pick a line on our mat, and we're going to choose it to be our quote 0 line. And then we're going to make our borders 2 1/2 inches wide. So we're going to cut a border 2 1/2 inches wide. So this tape will keep any shifting of your border from happening because you can secure your border into a position, and this tape will keep any looseness from affecting your cut. Because I'm right-handed, I'm going to start counting from the right to the left. If you were left-handed, I would recommend using the bottom numbers and counting from the left to the right, because you would have your template pointing for the first cut pointing to your left. I'm having my first cut point to my right because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to put my paper down. I'm going to put it a little bit beyond, totally covering up this 0 line. And the reason I'm totally covering that line is because I want to make sure that when I cut on the 0 line, which is where I'm going to put my little R on the 0 line, not the edge of the paper, but the 0 line, or the 12 at the bottom, 0 up here, that it doesn't go off the page. And I just adore the Creative Memories place and peel tape. So I'm putting some place and peel tape to keep my paper in position. Once again, the R on the 0 line or the 12-inch line. So now I'm going to make my first cut, and as usual, I cut a little from the top up, then back down. And I've cut away the first of my border. So now I'm turning my blade around and pointing the peak to my right. And I want my peak to be about 2 1/2 inches. So I'm going to put this 2 1/2 inch, put the R line on 2 1/2. I'm picking up my paper and moving it to the 0 line. So I want the peak to be on the 0 line because I want to measure 2.5 inches from 0. I'm going to put my R line, which is the one closest to the cutting edge here, on that 2.5 inch mark because I'm aiming for 2.5 inches. So my R line down here is on the 9.5 inch line, and up here it's on the 2.5 inch line. Now, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to turn my pad around, get my template aligned here, and I should get close to a 2.5 inch at its widest point. Should be 2.5 inches. And let's see. And we did it! Yay! We have a 2.5 inch border. I want 4 more. Now I have my 5 hexagons cut. I played around with the order that I want them to go. And so I've decided I want to go like this. And we're going to put them on the top 2 with a small gap between the 2, tiniest gap at the top, tiny gap between those 2, and then the bottom 2. So the one on the bottom with a small gap at the bottom, almost touching, and then the next one on top above that one. Okay. And then we're going to put the final one in the middle, and it's going to overlap the second from the top and the second from the bottom. They will overlap a little bit. But now we have a nice striped background with a bit of interest. One thing I think I want to do is ink the edges. So I'll probably pull out my blue ink and ink those edges so that they will stand out against this white background. So I'm going to adhere this down and then pull out my photos. I found some variety mat cards to be the mats for these 2 photos. I chose yellow to be a contrasting color to the blue and help the photos lift off of the page. I had some canary cardstock that I used to make a mat for this photo, and I'm going to take what remains of that canary and make a journal spot and embellish down in this corner, and probably some small embellishment here. No need for a title. We know what this is about. I'll have the close-ups for this layout coming right up. And I hope you will like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and here's another video that YouTube says you'd like, so please watch it.